Oh, they decided to riot because of the new stricter rules the school has on being late, and my son, William Leeser, was a part of it. I've got to punish him, don't I? I can't just let him get away with breaking the school rules. They are there for a reason. It doesn't matter if it makes a few upset. They are there for the general well-being of all. I'm thinking of sending him to a boarding school or donating one of his kidneys. For the general well-being of society, of course.
Let's get to the facts. Well, gentlemen, first they saw that the laws for students arriving late to school were harsh, unjust even. The administration enforced the rule that those who arrive to school late X number of times will be charged with a level 4 policy violation. What do you think of this first realization that they had?
It's like taxes. If we don't agree with the government taking our money, then using it for means in which we do not think are just, then we simply don't pay them. The student riot was a small-scale version of such an incident. They recognized the unfairness of the new rules of their school, so they refused to follow them and stood up for their beliefs. Surely, John, you cannot mean to punish your child for doing that. Well, Henry, I couldn't agree more. The students took the rule to question the moral imperative behind the lawmaking of their administrators. The law that had been in the school built the civic faith of the learning body. Everyone accepted them, and it was time for someone to stand up and question the authority and the rules. Rage against the machine, as my young son so praised says, the little type.
For once, dear friends, I think I'm in agreement with you all. It is good to culture our children in the ways of morality. If said laws of the school are not moral, it is key to pursue such morality for the good of our world, and teaching our children to think and act autonomously is the best way to achieve worldwide justice and morality. By seeking justice with duty is the right way to act. But what if the laws were never wrong in the first place? As a pure utilitarian, surely the late rule punishments toward the minority of late students is a small price to pay for the greater good of the learning environment of the school.
But the majority isn't always right.
We must respect the minority.
Before you men cut each other's heads off, let's talk about the fact that the students at the school organized and carried out the riot on the school premises.
If I may, I will speak first.
Please do.
Rioting is a tricky subject. I think it's admirable that people fight for a good cause, but the riot itself is not the act of upholding morality. It's the autonomous paths that we choose within ourselves. In this case, however, they acted not autonomously, but heteronomously, as means to achieve an end. They acted because they want something, not because they felt obligated to do so. The riot acted as a way to get what they wanted, and that is acting heteronomously. There was no duty that the students had.
Hold on a moment, Emmanuel. If they saw it as unjust, then they felt the duty to bring morality to the situation. Your son, John, recognized the students who were punished for being late were punished unjustly so. He cared for and sympathized with the students whose fault it was not that they were late. They were punished for doing something out of their control? Now that is immoral. The riot was justly carried out. The duty that the students held to help their fellow learners was acted upon. You say that there was no sense of duty? You are wrong, Emmanuel. The riot was the essence of morality in this case. Rioting is the only way to change something. Rioting is the voice of oppressed people, and these students were indeed oppressed. Thoreau, I thoroughly agree with you. To Emmanuel, Thoreau speaks the truth. You claim that the students that rioted had no duty to do so, and were simply getting what they wanted. However, what they want is justice within their school. Are you claiming that philosophers that strive for morality do not want it? Morality is craved, Emmanuel, and from this craving comes riot, and born from the riot is morality and change. It's a cycle. Change is essential, Emmanuel. You cannot pursue something with your whole heart if you do not truly want it.
Socrates and Henry, want might drive one for morality, but want also drove Hitler to power. He craved control, but does that mean he was immoral? Yes, want can lead to morality, but morality does not come from all wants. Categorical laws must be the only thing driving our thoughts. Any other variable in the decisions we make are heteronomous. Morality lies above human desires and cravings. We as rational beings with the ability to think autonomously must do so. We as rational beings will all come to the same moral conclusions, if it is truly moral.
However, in this case, the body of students reached the conclusion that the new rules were immoral. What do you suggest should be done when we as rational beings come to this conclusion? Sit around and twiddle our thumbs until it happens? No, we must take action and question the laws that are thrust upon us.
This is a hypothetical, Socrates. Hypotheticals change and twist the absolute laws and morals in certain situations. They're irrelevant to the overall and absolute laws. I am speaking of categorical laws. For example, one should never lie, and that law should always be followed in every case. Honesty is a universal law. It could not be bent or shaped like hypotheticals lead us to do. A particular situation does not matter. What truly matters is the bridgework of categorical laws that lies within us.
But who is to enforce the laws? And what about the small actions that lead us to morality?
We must rely on ourselves to uphold the laws of morality. If each and every one of these laws are followed, morality will be achieved. Pure practical reason will lead us there. It is the duty that we have as a rational society capable of reason. We have the duty to uphold these categorical codes no matter the consequence. We must not focus on the outcome, good or bad, because the outcome will always be moral. No riots would ever be necessary and no wanton actions taken if we allow ourselves to be led by the duty we have. Small actions are only part of the categorical law. With the aid of pure practical reason, the outcome will be predictable and there will be no questioning of the consequences of small events.
Say, Emmanuel, that you are at home with your lovely wife, Matilda. She's in the kitchen cooking supper. There's a knock at your door and you open it. There's a murderer on your doorstep holding a loaded gun. He asks you if Matilda is home. You know for a fact that if you say yes, he will enter your home and kill an innocent woman. If you lie to him, he will leave and your innocent wife will be safe. What do? What do you say? You say that honesty in all situations will lead to morality, as it is one of your categorical codes. However, if you tell the truth in the situation, your innocent wife will die. Is that morality? For your hardworking wife to die for no just reason?
Think a step back, Socrates. No moral, rational being would knock on my door and attempt to kill my wife. If one did, it would be breaking the categorical moral imperative. If we all followed these codes, no murderer would be on your doorstep in the first place.
Clearly, we will not agree on this. Well, further on in the day, the students then refused to accept the punishment for the riot. The students refused to be suspended for the riot and continued coming to school. We live under a universal social contract. Because we agree to live in a society and accept the protection we are given, we are bound to follow the laws. However, it is essential to break the laws for morality, thus obey the consequences given to us by breaking the law. We must agree to live in the society and use the advantages that are given, as well as accepting the consequences. It's the moral thing to do. Socrates, I would expect this from you last. You strive to break the laws that we live under. It's the way we must achieve morality. If we succumb to the consequences and agree to be suppressed by the laws, how will anything change? We must continue to break the laws in order to emphasize the importance of change. If the students agreed to suspension for the violation, then their actions would be coded in the everyday actions of the normal school environment. The protest must thrive to highlight the need for a change in the laws. It is hypocritical to break one law and obey the others. By breaking one, we must break all in order to properly question the laws we live by.
Gentlemen, I think I've made it clear that they shouldn't have rioted in the first place. However, I would like to add that I agree with Socrates that they should accept punishment, but for a different reason. Not accepting punishment is morally unjust because the breaking of social contracts is not a categorical moral imperative, therefore it cannot be applied to every situation. They broke the law, they rioted, and broke the laws of punishment. The riot disrupted classes. It angered the citizens of the school. By further breaking the rules and refusing to accept punishment, an uproar of anger and emotion was created. For the future, students that do not obey the laws will deliver a message of disobedience to other students. Thus, harsher laws will be placed on the student body. Harsher laws will reduce the happiness. You must think of the future, gentlemen, because your proposals of not accepting punishment or following the laws will reduce the happiness of the majority both now and in the future. Because I disagree with you, I've chosen to remove my child from school. If we all removed our children from school, that is, those who participated, the unhappiness of our sons and daughters will be outweighed by the healing of the school and the happiness of their teachers and peers. So I've made my decision for the sake of the multitude, although clearly we don't agree.